everybody, Plastic Commando here, coming to you today from deep behind enemy lines. And now it's time for something different. It's Rome, Fall of the Empire. This is a historical board gaming production. The time period is the late Roman Empire. It's not the Imperial Roman Empire that we are more accustomed to in reading about history, movies, and such, but this is a dark period in Rome when we got forces from all around, the barbarians that are looking to all get a piece of the action. And so I'm going to just give a quick overview of the map, and I will say that the map itself came out about, I want to say about a year and a half ago when I purchased it. And I got some custom roundels that were out as well for the different powers that's involved: the Romans, the Franks, the Goths, the Huns, the Sassanids. And other than that, there really wasn't a whole lot for the game itself, other than some basic rules that were on hand at the time. And it's my understanding Historical Board Gaming now has a boxed edition of this game that basically comes with all the pieces if you want that. But per my typical path, I like doing some custom miniatures. And so I set out months ago trying to put together some miniatures for this game. And I've got those complete. So I'd like to do just a quick overview of the map, and then we will get into some of these miniatures. Here we got Rome, Fall of the Empire logo. This is a nice map. It's got some vibrant color to it. I got a bit of a glare with the overhead lights here in my room, but it's a nice map. It's 18 by 34 inches. And you can see we've got the Western Roman Empire in red, we got the Franks in blue, we got the Goths in green, and purple we have the Eastern Roman Empire. Yellow we have the Sassanid Empire. And then last but not least, we've got the mighty Huns, who everybody fears. And here we've got a nice little production chart. Then we've got an income tracker at the bottom. So, yep, nice map. It's not a very big map in comparison to some of the other historical board gaming maps, but it's sufficient for the game itself. I do hope, though, I have played this game a few times myself already. I do hope that there are different versions in size that historical board gaming will put out. It would be nicer to have maybe a slightly bigger map, depending on the size of miniatures that you will want to use. But I always say a little bit bigger is always better. Can never go wrong. So there are a few play aids that were available for download at the time. And I think now they're all basically available as the boxed edition if you want to purchase those. This here is the attacking and defending the battle board. This is basically just a print that I'd printed off and put it on a little bit of cardstock. And again, I like to do a lot of customization myself, so I wanted something that was maybe a bit more aesthetically pleasing for my eye. So I have created my own little battle board, which I'll be using just for my own personal gameplay. I went ahead and put the Rome Fall of the Empire logo at the top, and just basically created this using Microsoft Publisher. Found some images on the internet and created some black silhouettes, and I think it turned out pretty nice. It's not as vibrant as the one that you can get with the game, but again, I like it because it's a little bit easier on the eyes, at least my old eyes anyway. And I pretty much reference the same, put in a different pattern, if you will, but it's all the same in terms of strength, power, attacking, defending, and such. But again, just another customization that I've made for this game. And then the rules at the time when I purchased the map were available for download. Again, I just printed these off at the time. I think there may be some additions, changes that have occurred. My understanding, I think in talking with the designer on a YouTube post, that I think most of the rules are basically still the same. But I wanted to kind of further customize myself, so I went ahead and basically copied the same rules of the game itself, which I'm using, and I just put everything more or less on a different background that kind of gives a bit more color, you know, from the original download that I had. And you know, I again put all this together just using Microsoft Publisher, which I have, and you'll see on this back note here, it's not a very lengthy rule book at all, but this is basically my summation of what you need to play the game. And a lot of this is on Historical Board Gaming's website. For example, you know, you got the map itself, which is 18 by 34 inches. The game comes with the game rules, which we're certainly looking at right now. You get a game setup chart. You get the battle board, which we just looked at. And I kind of added a few numbers on these, which I think, again, I've played this game a few times. I think you need roughly about 180 kind of late Roman barbarian miniatures, 30 each in the faction. I think that's what Historical Board Gaming recommends. I've got a minimum to that, because I think, you know, again, depending upon, you know, if you really want to use chips or not, or simply if you start producing a little more miniatures, you might need a few more. But I think these are pretty good average in terms of what you need. And I've got some custom miniatures for the neutrals, and I've just sort of added just some basic miniatures with spears, something that's a bit different. And you know, I've got about 120 faction markers. These are the custom roundels from Historical Board Gaming. It's about see, there's 6 powers. I've got 20 each, maybe a bit overkill. And you know, I figured I've been using like at least 8 6-sided dice. I think that's a minimum, just really to your taste, depending on how many times you want to throw dice. And about 50 plastic chips, roughly 30 white, 10 green, 10 red, I think is a good minimum. And then about you know, 200 plastic Roman coins, 120 gold, you know, 80 silver, give or take. And actually what I'm using are the plastic chips that came with the original Conquest of the Empire. I've got a bunch of those that I've got several of those games I'd bought years past off eBay. So I've got a completely finished game, and I've got some odds and ends. So I'm using a lot of the coins for this game as well. So in any event, just I customized the rules themselves. Nothing that I really changed. Obviously, I'm playing the game as is. Here we got the game setup chart, and I think I may have changed just some of the wording, again, just to suit my own personal taste. But otherwise, it's a very short rule book, and I think has been said many times before, people that have looked at this game and others, it's a beer and pretzel type game, and it's fun. It's just takes a little while to get accustomed to and start throwing dice, and you start playing. And then real quick, just want to give a shout out to the designer. Again, I just took this straight from the rule book that I downloaded. It's designed by Jonathan Galvez, published by Historical Board Gaming, 3 to 6 players. Says about an hour and 30 minutes. And so again, I think that's it's a pretty good estimate. So in any event, it's not my intention to make this a long video. I would recommend, if you want to deep dive into this game right now, go to other channels here on YouTube. Sky Marshall, who did a recent unboxing, nice unboxing of what you get from Historical Board Gaming at the present. And about a year and a half ago, Board Gaming Bro, he actually purchased the map about the time I did and went ahead and he's got a game up on his channel. It's a Board Gaming Bro, and you might want to take a look at that. It gives you an idea of how the game plays, and so that'll give you some ideas whether it's something for you or not. Okay, let's dive into the first set of miniatures, and actually I think what I'm going to do, it's my intention to put all of the powers, the miniatures, into this video, but it's going to be a longer video than I would like. So we're going to do one, and then we will introduce the remainder of the factions in this game in separate videos. It'll be a lot shorter. But before we get into the first power, the miniatures that I've used are from Essex Miniatures. They're based out of England, and they're 15 millimeter miniatures, so they're slightly smaller from head to shoulder than the typical 1/72 scale that we're using. Again, it was my thought process when I got the game. The size of the map's a little smaller in terms of the territories. So I wanted maybe a different size of miniature, and plus, again, not having any miniatures at the time, Essex Miniatures is a company that I had actually bought from in the past time or two, and they've got an excellent late Roman set of miniatures. So if you're interested, you can go to EssexMiniatures.com, take a look at the Ancients section, and it's got virtually any ancient set of miniatures that you'd be looking for. So let's go ahead and take a look at the first faction power, and that's going to be the Sassanids. And got everything in my nice little case here for protection. And what I'd like to do is go ahead and get these out on the map, and we'll come right back. Okay, here we are. First, I'd like to say what an absolute pleasure it was painting these miniatures up, putting them together. Not gonna lie, it took me a while, but man, they are some nice miniatures from Essex. Very detailed, and this, of course, is the infantry. I've got. I bought a pack off of eBay to test first, and then I ended up buying later from directly Essex Miniatures. So I do have some odd sets. I was trying to keep the same number of units per faction power, and I ended up doing 22 of the infantry, which is a little more than I think we need if we're using chips. But and they just turned out really great. And following this video, I've got another video I'm going to post. It's a very brief video on how to go about assembling and painting these sorts of miniatures. So we'll be posting that video as well. And in the back, these are my generals. Obviously, we've got 2 per stand, but this is a flag bearer and a general. So I thought it'd be a little bit different. Rather than having just one individual general, this is actually a command stand. So I've got 6 total generals that I'll be using, or at least have access to, if one has the amount of income. And then in the back row, got the cavalry. And I've got 8 of these. These are cataphracts, armored cavalry for the time. And these look absolutely great. And I'll I'll do a quick zoom on some of these guys here in a second. And then I've got each faction, I've got about 5 catapults in each box, you know, if they're needed. These are actually historical board gaming 3D sculpts that have been out some time. I bought some of these, actually quite a few of them, to replace some of my older Conquest of the Empire catapults that were always broken. And I've got quite a few of these that I've painted up, so I can use these for both Conquest of the Empire and this particular game as well. So turned out really nice. And then of course you probably recognize the ships here in the back. These are directly from Conquest of the Empire. These are the galleys, and I've got a total of 5 galleys as well for each faction power. And primed all of these, painted them up, and again the same colors. And then lastly, we've got the nice historical board gaming faction markers. I like these a lot. So real quick, with the miniatures, after I painted them, I was able to isolate the faction roundel symbol, and then I simply made a transfer using using specialized decal paper. And so what I ended up doing is I printed these off and then simply applied them as decals to the shields, because the shields are rather long and it was really hard to try to paint a design. So I took the liberty of actually applying these transfers on here. Again, this is just for my own personal use. We're not selling these, but I thought they were a great addition to the shields. It really kind of brings it all in together. And with all my factions, I've got a theme of color that I'm utilizing. Obviously, there's a lot of yellow in these, and I did the same with the flag banners in the back. Again, these are decals, and I think it really sets them apart. Very pleased with the generals. I think these are an awesome addition. They look great on the map. And then here we've got one of the cavalry. Get him to focus in. Here we go. Yeah, these guys are awesome. They just turned out great. Again, fully armored cataphract, and yeah, these in historical times, these caused Rome a lot of headaches. So these are a nice addition. All right, so those are the Sassanids, and as I indicated, I'm gonna stop this video, and I'm going to introduce each separate faction power in a separate video, just so this video is not too long. But I'm really enjoying this game. I've played it a couple times, and I want to go ahead and get a few of these videos up, and then eventually maybe do some gaming, maybe some solo gaming at first. And it's a fun game. So I encourage each of you to go to Historical Board Gaming and check it out if you're looking for something different. In particular, if you grew up playing Conquest of the Empire, I mean, this is it's a really good version. So I think you'll like it. So, all right, guys, I appreciate you tuning in as always. This is the Plastic Commando. Hope you guys have a great weekend. Over and out.